Luke towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. That is pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
Welcome, everyone. Louis, Red Sox genuinely suck.
They do. It's so frustrating.
I mean, they're not a good baseball team.
No, they're not.
I mean, they have holes in holes.
And if it turns out Crochet's 2025 was the anomaly and not this year, then we're in deep
You
trouble.
think he's hurt?
I don't know. I don't think he's hurt. They wouldn't run him out there if he were hurt. They really wouldn't.
I mean, this kid Durbin at third base, big disappointment thus far.
No.
Our main man, Anthony, big disappointment thus far.
He'll straighten out, yeah.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean,
just needs to lift a damn ball. Nothing but ground balls.
Yeah, they're just not a good baseball team right now. And my prediction is that if they don't turn things around by June 1st, Mr. Cora is going to be on the outside looking in.
It's possible because they need a scapegoat, but he's not the problem.
Absolutely. Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, my good friend and partner, Boston radio personality Lou Blasi, who, man, you're all over the place with your gigs.
Trying.
Between radio and podcast and casinos. I don't know how the hell you do it, man.
Baseball podcast after this one too. So
that's right. You got your serious
podcast, yeah. Your
serious radio show, man. You guys are all over the place. We have a great show today. Steve is with us. Steve Verkman, CEO of he's the CEO of a conglomerate now. Clean Sweep Auctions and Leland's. How are you, Stephen?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. And then in a few minutes after Steve is done, our good friend, he calls himself the GOAT, Derek Grady from Heritage Auctions is going to be joining us. I had the pleasure of seeing Derek at the Boston show. He actually kissed me, Lou.
Nice.
And I have the photograph to prove it that I will post at some point in time. All right, let's talk to Steve. Steve, you have your auction going on, ends on the 29th?
Well, it's a 2-day auction. It ends next Wednesday and Thursday. It ends on the 29th and the 30th. This is what we call the unique to the industry. We call it the double play auction. Almost everything in the auction is worth $500 or less. So this isn't an auction for $100,000 items and $10,000 items.
Right.
This is a real collector's auction. So anyone can get in on this. There's all sorts of fun stuff from autographs and memorabilia and cards and baseballs and team balls and pins and pennants, and all manner of collectibles of sort of fun stuff and we cover all the sports, in this auction. So I don't think anyone else does this.
I was going through the catalog online. A lot of signed cards. Some really cool ones. Can you tell me about those? Are those all from one consignor, those signed cards?
No, this thing's from 1,000 different places. Some stuff we own. There's a million consigners for this auction. But the really cool ones, there was a guy, a super collector in New York, who was way ahead of his time with signed card sets. So they have these 2001 Topps Chrome combination cards. They're really amazing. He's got a Yankee card signed, one card signed by Derek Jeter, Yogi Berra, Reggie Jackson, Whitey Ford, and 6 guys on the card. And then there's a card with 5 Cincinnati Reds Hall of Famers with Barry Larkin and Johnny Bench and everyone else. I mean, and there's a card with Ken Griffey and Hank Aaron. I mean, the stuff you just never see. So those are like, the most popular ones in there. But the signed cards are just on fire right now. It's amazing.
I got to ask a question. I think you have if I recall, a 1960 Topps is about 450 card lot in the auction. Is that correct? Is it a 60 Topps that you have in there, Steve?
A signed card lot or unsigned?
No, not signed.
Yeah,
But
there. Oh,
it's,
there's 63. Oh, there's a near 63 set that's nice. That's like like a real nice partial set.
yeah, but you know what I'm noticing, and I want to ask your opinion. Saturday when I was at the show in Boston, talking to people, talking to collectors, a- is it my imagination or a lot of collectors, card collectors, going back to collecting raw cards? Is that my imagination, or are you seeing it?
Um, I honestly I don't know. It might be a little bit of your imagination. I know people are buying raw cards, but because the grading fees have gotten so high. But,
Mhm.
but for anything expensive, I think they want them in slabs. No
Yeah,
one's
that's
no one's buying raw cards really above or above $100 to $200. You get a lot of resistance. People want it in the holder, and as I'm sure the grading fees are just
well,
exploding
I
out.
think that has something to do with it. I was talking to a kid on Saturday, and he's working on a 1961 top set, all raw, all low grade, just to own the set. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And which I find kind of attractive. The other thing I noticed, you have a really cool Wheaties box that I saw in your auction. That's kind of a really cool piece. I can't remember whose pictures are on it, but there's like
Yeah, those are fun. They're very undervalued. Yeah, Ted Williams. It's not the whole box; it's the panel.
right,
But Ted Williams is
the
on it.
panel.
Hall of Famers. They're really undervalued. They're great looking cards. You just don't see them like that. At all. But back to the thing with the lower grade cards, like when we get big groups of really beat up T206s and Gaudis ungraded,
Yeah,
they go nuts at auction. That a lot of
they
people.
fly, right?
Yeah,
I was
especially
gonna
if you
say, that's like kind of like an inefficiency in the market, right? It's kind of like a sale price on these things because they're ungraded.
well, yeah, but I mean like really low grade because nice ones you get graded because
Yeah.
if you start getting into the graded ones, the dealers are going to ask $100 a card for a comment, so you can't even touch these sets. So people will buy these really beat up. They'll make like what you're saying with the 61 top set. They'll do it with the tobacco and Gaudi sets because
Yeah.
you can't otherwise do these sets.
Well, I
You know,
mean, that's what it is, Lou. I mean, you get a T206 set, and it's really from a financial standpoint. Think about what the cost is to have a complete graded T206 set, even in ones and twos across the board. All right, I mean, it's a lot of money.
it
So
is.
I can see where a lot of people just want to collect T206 cards raw, just to have the collection. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Steve, what's some of the other items? I know you have a lot of pennants too, if I recall,
Yeah,
and pins.
there's some cool pennants. The pins are really special. So the really good pins in the auction are from this really nice 90-year-old guy who collects Brooklyn Dodger stuff since like the 1940s. So we're gonna have stuff from him, or 1950s. We're gonna have stuff from him in our next two auctions. So one of the feature items in the auction are these PM10 stadium real photo pins of the Brooklyn Dodgers. And many of these haven't sold in 5 years publicly. There's about 15 or 20 different. They're really cool pins. There's a really cool pin from Gil Hodges Bowling Alley. There's some really cool 1950s Dodger pins. There's a few programs from the tour of Japan. So it's really like super fresh stuff. Really, really neat Brooklyn Dodger stuff, and really, really great stuff for pin collectors. Those have been popular. For football collectors, we got a really good run of goal lines with a lot of the tougher ones slabbed and autographs graded 10s. Those are always very popular. I love those cards. I think the artwork is great. And they're so, the signatures
Yeah.
look great on those large, because they're a little bit bigger than the Perez Steels. So the guys put huge signatures on them.
What about the exhibit? You had some really cool signed exhibit cards too.
Yeah, those are always fun. Yeah, people love those. A lot of people collect those. All the vintage signed cards have just exploded in price. Oh, the other thing we have, which we had never had before, we picked up this incredible collection. We'll be featuring over many auctions of 20,000 signed cards, almost all obtained in person by an incredible autograph chaser. So he did things nobody did. So we have a whole bunch of 86 Fleer basketball signed cards, and I never see those slab. So we have about 30 different, and then he also did star basketball, and in our upcoming auctions, we're going to have near sets of signed cards like that. I mean, we'll get into that next time. But
Can you imagine what kind of an effort that is?
yeah,
I mean, that's like insane.
yeah, he spent 30 years as an autograph chaser, and he's even doing it. He had some health issues, and he's even still doing it now. Those guys, it's like they're like professionals. They're like spy sleuths. They know who stays in what hotel.
Exactly.
They coordinate like they're doing a military operation to bring whatever it is to have them sign. And then they're funny though. They have like utter hatred for the players that don't sign. But you can't really blame the players. They know this stuff's money. You have somebody to work for free. I mean,
it's gonna be brutal for the players. They go down in the lobby and just get inundated.
Yeah, and then
absolutely.
And it's funny. Like there's guys that sign you would never think that sign, and then vice versa. It's very idiosyncratic with who signs and who doesn't.
Interesting.
And affects the values. And these are the guys who are alive.
Really. All right. So when is the auction? What are the dates of the auction again? The 29th and 30th. It ends.
Yeah, it's Wednesday and Thursday. It's a 2-day auction. Your initial bids have to be in each day's ending. If what ends each day, the initial bids have to be in by 8:00 Eastern time. The way the clean sweep auctions work is at 12:30 at night. We have the 30-minute rule per lot. So, yeah. the 15-minute rule per lot. So if there's no bid between 12:30 and 12:45, you win the lot. You don't have to stay up all night. Almost all of the lots do end by 12:45 a.m. Eastern time, so you don't have to drive yourself crazy till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Worrying about who's going to outbid you. So that's something we have in our auctions. It's a good mix of stuff. If you're a collector, you're likely going to find something you're going to like. It's a big mix: autographs, memorabilia, cards, prints, tickets, all photos, pins. It's just a fun assortment of stuff.
Awesome. And let's have both websites. What's the Clean Sweep website?
Yeah, so it's cleansweepauctions.com. And then our sister company's Lelands.com. We just had an auction close over.
That was a great auction, man. I saw some of this stuff. Wow.
Yeah.
Some killer items. Jordan's doing a good job. All right, Steve, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll see you down the road.
Look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Be good. Steve Verkman from Clean Sweep Auctions. All right, where's the other guy? Is he here, or did we lose him?
No, Derek's here.
I'm here.
Hi, D. How you doing?
Hey, you didn't have me on with Steve. You'd think we're friendly competitors.
I know, I understand that, but you know something? I like to, what's the word? An auction house like Steve, you want to just have him run with it, do his thing, and then we bring you in.
I got it. Bring in the granddaddy.
Hey, he's been around a long time, man.
He has been. I remember him at a Pittsburgh show when I was in my young, I was probably 20, 21, and he was doing a deal with Rosen. Steve was dressed up in his dress pants and his button-down shirt, and he was doing a deal with the legendary Al Rosen.
Yep.
And that had to be, that was a long time ago. It was like 35 years ago, 30 some years ago.
Yeah, first time Ellen and I met Rosen for the first time, probably about, 2010. We were doing the Wilmington show, and we were set up right next to him. And he and Ellen, they just spoke. He was a good guy. He was a good guy, man.
I mean, he was okay. I don't know how many people you would get to say he was a good guy.
Well, he was different.
Yes, he was different. By the way, he might have been nicer to ladies also.
He was very nice to Ellen. Very nice. He really was. But anyway, obviously in the book, one of the I just finished it, the Mr. Mint find, which was really a kind of a cool story. Louis, this is a little sidebar to the Rosen find, the Mr. Mint find. Yep. That I didn't realize that my family business, we're in the lumber business. My grandfather, my uncle, we all have spent a lot of years together.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Rosen find, the Mr. Mint find, he was contacted by an employee of one of my big competitors.
Oh, really?
A lumber yard in Boston. And I'm not going to name the lumberyard, but they're still in business, and they're our biggest competitor. And he found out about the cards from a truck driver who lived in Quincy that had the cars, and he was a regular truck driver on their route that would make deliveries to the lumberyard. So I found that pretty interesting. That it all comes from the lumber business.
Funny how it all ties together, huh?
All ties together. Anyway. Listen,
that story. Go ahead.
Let me start with Derek because we broached the subject with Steve about grading and the cost of grading, and I'm wondering if that's creating an economy for a not maybe a full grade, but a kind of, is there an opening in the market for a lower priced grade type system? I'm not sure how that would
Absolutely,
look.
absolutely. I mean, so what you are seeing is people are getting more money for raw cards now than ever. But you have to be careful who you're buying from. You want an expert dealer that knows, that they're standing behind their raw cards. Like a Jimmy Ryan, we're friends of the show and runs the National, and Jimmy's been selling raw cards for decades at shows. He's going to stand behind what he sells. Make sure you're not getting anything trimmed or altered. But there is 100% a market for it. And there's dealers, with the strict grading standards now and a $20 minimum fee, even for commons. Okay. So there's a lot of cards that just aren't worth getting graded, especially if you're used to getting 7s and 8s and now you're getting 5s and 6s. You might be better off selling them raw and let other people take a shot.
Well, that's what we were talking about, Derek. I don't know if you were listening in the background, but yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. And I'm seeing that more and more. I was talking to people at the show about that.
Yeah.
It seems as though, I don't know if the grading fees are getting too high, are people,
and the
and I'm
grades are
talking about
tighter.
the average Joe, are they getting forced to buy raw cards?
I don't think they're getting forced. I think people are preferring it because you can have some bad, you go ship a package at $20, $22 a card or whatever it is, and you wait 3 months to get it back.
Yeah.
And also you get killed on your grades. To a lot of people, again, I'm just giving you the feedback I hear at shows. You usually hear complaints, right? Of how long it took, the upcharges. Very few people are thrilled with their grades nowadays. And so, basically buying the raw card, you can, and some people take a shot and send it in. The modern stuff is definitely easier. I mean, getting a 10 on a Pokemon card or a 9 on a Pokemon card is very easy. They're round for the most part, round edges. They don't have square corners. But we sell a ton of raw cards here at Heritage, but we also have 2 professional graders that work for us with Lee and I.
Well, let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit, because you were a professional grader for years at SGC, a great grading company, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've always been right up there. I know they're now owned by collectors, but is that whole grading, is the face of grading going to change over the next year or two with the birth of AI? And if what's going to happen there with the grading, Derek? How's it all going to shake out?
I don't completely trust AI and who's programming it to. I mean, I realize AI is incredible. I think it can help you with the technical aspects, whether it's print or whether it's the centering. Obviously, centering is a science. That's not, it can be measured, and what can measure that better than AI? But there's also issues where print, picture the 48 leaf baseball.
Yeah.
How does, the short prints are just awful the way they come. They're blurry. It's just print dots, fish eyes. Very rarely, centering's difficult, but there's so many print defects. Well, they're more acceptable in 7s and 8s on cards like that than other cards. So there's certain more, every issue, there is some acceptability. I shouldn't say every issue, but Topps issues, Fleer issues, Gaudy issues, T206s, there's certain brands issues that you're going to give a little leeway on something. And I think the grader, I would love to use AI as an assistant. Let AI tell me what the suggested grade is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And then I have the final say. I think you have to have the human element by an expert that's been around, that knows the different issues, that have seen them. In my days, I've seen, again, from 19th century, from all 4 major sports to all the non-sports cards, between 2 different major auction companies, and grading. I've been very blessed that I got to see all, it's very rare that I haven't seen something, and it's very cool when there is a new discovery and I see it, and I still try and learn and educate myself. But it would be great to have AI give you that assistant grade, the suggested grade, and then you have the ability as the grader to have the final say.
To tweak it.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you this question.
Let me finish with Lou though real quick, because I think Lou might have alluded, because only Lou could do it because he's so smart and quick at this stuff. I thought Lou didn't just talk about, is there a market for raw cards, but is there a market for a lower end grading service for lower value cards where you
Sounds
can
like
pay.
you guys are breaking into it a little bit, where you have professional graders on site that can tell you this card probably suggests to be a 3 or a 3.5 or something like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're not slabbing it, Lou.
But
They're
not
just
slabbing
making a
it.
suggestion.
I know, but
However,
if it's credible, it gives more faith to the buyer.
yeah, like put it this way: could I, if I wasn't, exec VP here at Heritage, could I go to a show and advertise that for X amount of dollars per card,
Mhm.
I can put it in a card saver and give you my grade, and that can help you or assist on what is a grading service going to tell you when you come up to submit cards. They go over the insurance value. They don't tell you, don't submit this, it's fake. They
Right.
deliberately do not put
Yeah.
experts out front. You are literally there to fill out paperwork. Okay. I at SGC struggled when I was as the head grader. I'm in the back room and I come out to go get food, go to the bathroom, and somebody's dropping off 5 Gaudi counterfeits and they're paying $100 a piece.
Mm.
I couldn't let them do it. It's going to
Wow.
take me one. So I would just say, here, keep these. Or if somebody was saying, hey, should I submit these? Right now, people want to submit everything. And there's certainly a ton of cards that shouldn't be submitted. In the grade they are, nobody should be submitting 87 Topps Mark McGuire's that are
Right.
excellent.
Okay. So let me ask you this question before we take a break. How many graders are there between SGC and PSA? How many actual graders are there? If you had to venture a guess.
Oh my God, there must be 100 of them, and
Okay,
I would know about 5 of them. But there's
Okay,
probably
so let's
100.
say there's 100. How is it
PSA having the
possible?
most.
How is it possible that last month PSA/SGC graded 2 million cards?
Yeah.
Okay, I would argue that it can't be done efficiently and correctly. It can be done. Okay. And Pokemon too. I mean, these guys can fly through that stuff. I mean, you're not looking
Oh,
at.
I'm including that's all inclusive.
Yes. So there's Japanese graders too. The PSA might have more than 100 graders. Okay. I'm not even sure how many graders.
I was flabbergasted when I saw that number.
Well, and again, that's why, I don't have the answer. I don't think anybody does because to get quality people, at Heritage, my standard before a grader can start typing in grades to grade a set without Lee or I reviewing them.
Yeah.
It could be a year.
Yeah,
it could be 6 months. I don't know how you can get, God bless if they can do it, get graders up to speed. Now there's certain issues. Don't let this guy go below 2000. Don't let this guy go below 1980. Don't let this, you know what I mean? This guy's a pre-war grader. I think there has to be specialties. There's so many different, oh my God, there's so many different types of cards.
How do you get to become a grader? I mean, do you go to a college course? What do you do?
Go to grade school.
College course. I got lucky, I was doing cards my whole life, and I was given an opportunity by a dealer that started SGC with the coin grading company, and he started it, and he remembers me from buying cards from him and said I had a good eye. Hey, do you want to come out here and try to be a grader? I also was kind of a student of the hobby. Like I wanted to learn, got the SCD, read it cover to cover, saw all the different finds, saw all the different types of cards. I don't know that today, when I interview people, they don't know a lot of the stuff from the 30s and 40s and 20s and teens or non-sports or all the different issues.
Is there a Bible that says for this particular defect that limits it to a 4 or 4.5, or is there a standard?
So yes, there's certain centering. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
When a card's more than 2 to 1 off center, the highest it's going to be is a 7. When a card is 2 to 1 off center, well, it used to be able to be an 8, but now they've gotten tighter on centering standards. So you're just not going to really see cards that are 2 to 1 on side to side or top bottom in 8s. There's some old ones out there. 9s, they used to want 60-40 or better. I would argue now it has to be 55-45. 10s, 52-48. There's 55-45 10s out there. And then if a card has a pinhole, you're usually not going to go higher than a 2. Okay, a lot of times, so there's different rules like that. If a card's 100-0 off center, it's probably going to be a 2. If it has a little border, maybe a 3. If it has a sliver or a 4, there's all kinds of different rules that just tend to apply Lou. Like there's a little bit of that, but it's also it's very difficult to get people up to speed. I can't tell you that I could run it better. I'd probably be there 24/7 because I'd be so worried about what got out the door. Here, when somebody grades a 56 top set, if Lee and I didn't see it, I'm nervous because we stand behind what we sell. And if somebody buys it, and we get very, very, very few returns based on what we sell. But I can tell you, Heritage pays for that. They've hired professional graders to work here, and we stand behind it. And I will absolutely look at something that we sold. If somebody said, "Hey, I think these grades are wrong," I will go over it, and if they're right, I've absolutely no problem, refunding them for that. So we take our time writing the sets. The raw cards, again, you see these auction companies that just do mass listing of graded cards. That is the easiest thing in the world to do. Okay, you scan it, you sell it. You can use AI to write the description. It's already graded. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. When you now get a group of, I was writing a 67 set yesterday from a collector that passed away, left the cards to the family. The sister, he had no wife or kids. Sister gets them. There's cards that he probably bought over 20, 30 years between dealers, shows, mail order. The 67 mantle was a phenomenal trim job. I would argue that's going to get by almost any auction company measures, but a very good trim job. So I mark it as trimmed. And I was showing the guys I'm training, hey, look, this is something that's going to take you a while to pick this up, but this card measures, and you got to catch it.
Interesting. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're running a little behind. Derek is in the house, the GOAT from Heritage Auctions, Executive Vice President. When we come back, Derek, we're going to have a TZ excerpt from one of our greatest books. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Derek is in the house with us. Derek, Grady.
Oh, yeah, I'm back.
Heritage Auctions. Derek, it was great seeing you on Saturday, and I appreciate the little.
Did you kiss him, Derek?
Can you wait? You wouldn't believe this, Lou, but once in a while I ham it up for the camera. Can you imagine that? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So somebody said, "Oh, you should kiss him." So I just put my lips up against him. I do think I touched skin. So he probably leaned in. He probably went like this.
Lou, it's going to be posted.
It will be posted. So
it will be posted on Facebook. So I will prove to the world that the man loves me.
I probably did. It's a show.
We all do some.
Sometimes, yeah, we do. So
all right, listen. It's time. It's time for our segment called "An All Stars Cardboard Memories," brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the great staff at PB Collectibles. Go to pbcollectibles.com for that special vintage card at an amazing price. As many of you know, our good partner, our good friend, Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. Rico played during the golden age of baseball. He literally played with or against 56 of the greatest Hall of Famers in the history of the game. And his relationships with many of them were really, really, really cool. So we wrote this book, Rico and I wrote this book along with Ellen, obviously, and Joe Orlando. And we won, actually, this book won the Ben Franklin Award, gold medal. And it's just a synopsis of Rico's. I did a series of interviews with Rico over a period of 6 months in bar rooms and restaurants, at the house, drinking martinis, and just asked him questions about how was it to play with this guy, or what was your relationship with this guy like. And then Joe Orlando, he zeroed in and talked about the cards of each one of these players. So this week we're talking about one of Rico's ex-teammates, Juan Marichal. When I made it to the majors, it was a thrill to face Juan Marichal during spring training. The Red Sox were in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the Giants played only 15 miles away in Phoenix. So we played them a lot, both home and away. They were a great hitting team with Mays and the rest. Marichal was a great competitor. He didn't throw real hard, but he had a killer curveball that came over the top and sidearm. His breaking pitch was excellent, and he had great control. Marichal would go way down and almost hit the ground with the ball before he threw it. With his really high leg kick, he could be really, really tough. That kick hit the ball, and before you knew it, the ball was on top of you. That's why his fastball looked faster than it really was. I could hit him pretty well at the beginning of spring training, but as we got closer to opening day, he just became tougher and tougher. Juan joined us near the end of his career in 1974. Even though he had pitched pretty well, his velocity was not there, and he had a hard time throwing strikes. He signed with the Dodgers in 75, but decided to retire early in the season, which was really the best thing for him. I remember Louis Tiant and Marichal pitched in a doubleheader that year. He was with the year he was with the Red Sox. Two great pitchers with unusual windups. One was really a good guy who mostly kept to himself, but we developed a nice relationship. Marichal liked to bust my chops about weekly popping out when I faced him in the 67 All-Star game. At least he didn't strike me out. I was curious about where he came from and how he got pitching. Like most of the guys from the Dominican, Marichal started at a very young age. I was amazed at how poor he was growing up. You know, there was not a lot of Latin players in MLB in those days, and the racism he experienced in the early part of his career made it very tough for him. Juan told me that the greatest moment of his career was the 16-inning complete game that he threw against the Braves. It was in 1963. Marichal was in his mid-20s, and he faced the great Warren Spahn, who was near the end of his career. They both threw complete games, and finally in the 16th, Mays homered for the Giants' 1-0 win. Can you imagine a pitcher throwing 16 innings today? Of course, the Johnny Roseboro bat incident was kind of a black mark on his career, but he always maintained that he thought that Roseboro was trying to hit him in the head with the ball. I know that he and Johnny eventually buried the hatchet, and years later, Roseboro supported Marichal for the Hall of Fame. You know, Marichal led the league in complete games and shutouts several seasons. He got the pitching title in 1979, was an all-star for years. He wasn't really overpowering, but his sneaky fast stuff, and he had a break, and he also had a great breaking ball. Juan Marichal was a great one. I'm so glad that I got to play against him and play with him. So if you want copies, it's kind of a cool thing that Rico talks about all the different players. You can get a copy of the book, by the way, by going to tomzapplermedia.com. Tom Zappler Media. Again, we won the gold medal. We won the bronze medal for this book, and we're really, really proud of it. It's kind of a cool book. Anyway, let's get back to our pal Derek. Out of the gate, man. I see you guys have been selling a lot of high-end modern cards lately. What's going on with that? Because you guys, you're selling more and more modern cards as time goes on.
Yeah,
what's the scoop?
On our May, it looks like the cover of the catalog has 3 modern cards on it this time, and it is 3 high-end. It looks like Kobe cards, because believe it or not, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. A lot of our high-end buyers in this market, collectors, want current players too, or players they saw play, and not just vintage cards. And it's like anything, when something becomes more valuable, more people want to collect it. Now I'm regretting not buying every signed. Michael Jordan's my favorite athlete of all time. I'm not from Chicago.
Yeah.
He's like an artwork to me. To watch him jumping and slinging and doing everything he did. Unbelievable athlete. Kid from Western Pennsylvania. That's who. I didn't have a basketball team. I rooted for Michael Jordan. And I regret when I see the prices of what Jordan's signed pack pulled cards are going for. About 10 years ago, when I could, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $2,000, $800, and now they're 6 figures, $50,000. I don't know what I was thinking. I think because I always thought they'd be there. If I ever wanted to, move in that direction, I could always just get them. And now they're untouchable. Everybody wants them, and a lot of high-end collectors, I won't say they cashed out of their vintage cards. I'm going to say they're adding to their vintage portfolio.
Well, I was going to ask you that. So, the balance is still
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because I read another interesting statistic. About, I want to know if the bull market is continuing, but based on that question, on an article that I read, listen to this, okay? Today, in the sports collectibles market, now I'm talking worldwide, inclusive of everything, it's a $40 billion market.
Wow.
In this snapshot in time. And the projection by 2032, it's going to be $100 billion market. Think about that.
So if you think about this, when I was a kid, I couldn't wait to get the Sears catalog and order everything. Dallas Cowboys, Penn State Nittany Lions, those standings with the magnetic board for all 4 sports, do the standings, do everything. I was just
electric football, Derek.
What's that?
Electric football.
Electric football.
Oh, that was awesome.
And then the handheld football games and stuff. We played it all in the neighborhood. I think everybody did, with their neighborhood, friends and stuff. We did and so I was just raised in sports, not because my family was big in sports, but just because that's what and collected cards. And I never understood why more people didn't collect. If you sell out sporting events, everybody can't, or watch it on TV. People go to bars to watch it. People, have get-togethers to watch sports. And I'm talking any sport, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't more people collect? I always thought collecting was cool. When people said, how does Comic-Con get so many people?
Mm.
And I was like, man, I don't know. What are we doing wrong? Why aren't more? How many people bet sports? How many people go to events, watch it on TV? Why aren't there more collectors? Well, the pandemic happens. The Jordan movie comes out.
Mm.
Everybody's at home watching it. More people go into their basement, find the cards.
Great point.
But then they found something they enjoyed, and they really do enjoy it. So I was, then there was a little lull after so the pandemic boom happened, right? And everything's going crazy. Then there was this little lull. And then you see Michael Rubin jump in with Fanatics. Yep. Okay. And all these high net worth people, celebrities, there may be a Netflix show or not. I shouldn't, of a competitor, right? This has gone so mainstream. How about the 9.5 mantle going viral? How about, when we sold that, we're getting more and more people are considering this as part of their investment portfolio. There are experts saying that to diversify collectibles makes sense as an asset class. But you have Tom Brady jumping in, opening, what does he have, 10, 12 retail stores?
Yep.
Okay. It's everywhere. Collectibles is everywhere. And I never understood it because I'll be honest with you. If I could have a $50 item hanging up, and I have more than that, but I'm saying you could have a signed ball, a mantle ball on your counter, and somebody comes in, or your display, wherever in your living room, and somebody will say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you have that." I'm like, "Well, you can get one too. It's easy. They're all over the place." But the people comment so much on what you have, and they never get into it. Now, you have more and more people going to trade shows.
It's crazy now.
It's absolutely crazy. The stores. Now you're seeing more stores again. Remember when there were stores everywhere and there wasn't for 30 years? Now there's stores everywhere again.
Let's stay on the modern thing for a minute, because I think this is a natural progression of what you were just talking about, where people were collectors and then money came into the market and they became investors. It became an investment opportunity. But there was always that little mix of, I have that mantle ball, I don't know if I want to sell it. Until the price got right. But I think more of these people are getting into the modern market because they don't have that attachment, and it's more like day trading, and it's more like
a lot of it is, Lou. You're dead on. You're dead on.
More the investment
but
side.
let me ask you to follow up on what you're saying, Derek, and what you're saying, Lou. I'm going to use myself as an example, and maybe a bad example, but
probably will be.
Well, I watched
it though between Lou and I.
This is the truth, man. I watch the news. I watch the news every night, and I read the news. I'm a voracious news reader, and I see what's going on in the world. And you can't avoid what's going on in the world, whether it be a war or whether it be drug problems, whether it be fentanyl, whatever it is. There's a lot of shit going on in the world. I swear to God, when I'm sitting in my office and I'm reading something, you know what I do? It's almost like soothing. I go to an auction house.
Yeah.
And I do, man, because I'm escaping. It sounds crazy, but I'm escaping the reality of what's going on around me. And I find it very, very, I don't even know what the word is. It's not soothing, but it's comforting. The word is comforting.
No,
I find it comforting.
Like, I've always put it this way. When we watch, you and I, Tom, when we watch the Patriots on Sunday, for 3 hours on Sunday, we're meditating. We've dropped all the noise floor around us.
Everything goes away.
You're right.
League baseball.
You know how excited I am for the draft? The Cowboys screw up the draft all the time. I can't freaking wait to watch that thing. Okay.
It's
but
weird.
To your point, okay, I hate to say this, but you had a good example. I think we do use hobbies as an escape.
Mm-hmm.
It's enjoyable. Who went to the Boston show to have a bad time? You go to have a good time.
Exactly.
Forget
about what the hell's going on around you.
But you're meditating. You're meditating. And when I go to an auction, my only problem is one thing. When I go into an auction, I freaking bid. And all I do is keep spending more money because I love bidding. I love
it's fun.
Thinking
it's a blast.
I'm going to own this piece.
And then
get this.
And we had I'll give you a perfect. We had Steve on a few minutes ago, Steve Verkman, and I was thumbing through his online catalog, and it was just cool. It was just cool, no stress, and you can buy stuff for $50. $100
I do
bucks.
like that. I like that. If we could find a way to make that work, okay. Here we have, a different overhead, obviously, and we do have items in that couple $100 range,
Yeah.
okay, in our Sunday night auctions, and we are seeing a huge increase in that. We've basically doubled our Sunday auctions, so we are trying to do that as well.
I've looked at that,
I
Steve.
admire.
I've paid attention to your
that he's doing it.
Sunday auctions. I paid attention to that, and
Did you notice that? Did you notice the quality of the offering?
What I've noticed with Heritage, and I'm going to be honest with you, you and I have talked about it before. I've talked about it with Joe. I've talked about it with Lee. There was a time where everybody considered, and you guys are elite.
I'm sorry, I
You're
gotta bring
elite.
this in. Steve Lane just commented. He said, "I read today's Yankees box score. Very soothing."
Bite me, Steve. Please bite me. Anyway,
For you, maybe.
really. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
I guess the
You
point,
said Heritage you had Heritage in this elite
right. You got
category.
people were at the very beginning were always looking at you guys and at Leland's. I mean, you guys are the kings. You guys were Kenny Golden, elite. But now what's happened is you're appealing also to the masses.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know that 80-20 rule?
I think you have. Well, listen, here's the Heritage story. I mean, look at Sotheby's and Christie's where they were for the last 20 years.
Right.
1 and 2, 1 and 2. Heritage was doing a few $100 million. Now we're at $2 billion. How did we get there?
Right.
It's not the $100 million paintings. They have a 200-year head start on us.
Exactly.
We do very well with paintings, American, and we have our categories where we're number one in. But if you think about where the growth is, it's not in the 50 million. I mean, I can't bid on $1 million item. I do very well. I can't bid.
Right.
Okay, that's Sotheby's and Christie's. That's what they got known for, right? Heritage now suddenly went from a few $100 million to $2 billion, and we're doing it the harder way. And we still have our Platinum Night auctions, which are unmatched.
Right.
And have been unmatched, but we can do both. And I've always argued you can have who doesn't want to sell some of the things we've sold, the called shot jersey, the 9.5 mantle, these other things, the ruby slippers in entertainment. Of course we want to sell that, but we don't only have to sell that.
You've got stuff to complement that now.
Absolutely.
And I can't even tell you how important that is. That's hugely
I think it is very important.
Because you've got people who are not
treating people the same way. I treat every consignor, whether they're giving me $10,000 worth of stuff or $5,000 worth of stuff, or whether it's somebody giving me $1 million card.
Right.
And I can literally pivot, and we train our people the same way. You treat everybody with respect. Everybody's a customer. You do, good customer service. And
hey, Derek, What was you've been with them a long time, and millions and millions and millions of dollars have come through Derek Grady's hands. Is there one Mona Lisa that sticks out that you have handled? Your most. What is your favorite consignment? I don't think I've ever asked you this.
You probably haven't. You've asked me a lot of weird stuff, but not.
I have.
Some stuff I won't even repeat. But it's okay. You have demons, but it's okay. You're a good guy. I would have to say from start to finish, the Anthony Giordano's 52 mantle, 9.5, because it was raw.
Yeah.
To get a raw card out in the wild, and so many people had tried to close him on selling that, and I was able to, and then to get the grade, to get the publicity, to get the winning bidder, the whole kit and caboodle there was.
Now that was part of the Rosen find.
The card was, yes.
Yeah,
and
that was part of the Rosen
raw. The odds of finding that card where it's just a no-brainer in the 9+ range raw. How did he not know his kids looking in the case? Nobody touched it from when they were a kid to a teenager to third. Like nobody. How did he keep it that way? And that was amazing. I would also tell you so. And it was a great family to work with. They're awesome people, just really good people.
Louis, Italian guy in the
garbage business.
Well,
so
yeah,
you better be careful. You're not going to find me. You wouldn't have found me, right?
In the Jersey area. Garbage business. Louis.
Yeah,
an Italian guy in the.
So I was scared for my life the whole time. No, honestly, great.
He asked Derek to grade and authenticate a Jimmy Hoffa body, but.
So I know where Hoff is buried. No, but there's one other thing. And so I'm also able to work with athletes. And, I'm still in touch with James Harrison, who's phenomenal linebacker.
We love him.
He'll be in the Hall of Fame at some point. I don't know why they're waiting. But Brooks Robinson, meeting his family and still staying in touch with them after he's passed, after we sold their stuff, and he gave everything to charity, and watching the kids all together say, we don't want anything. When the mother's, Connie, who's still living, was saying, are you sure, Michael, Brooks Jr., do you guys want anything? Do you want to go? Do you want this? And I said, we lived it. Give it to charity.
Yeah.
I've never seen that grace of this family. Just everybody saying, give it to charity. That's what you and Dad want it to go to a good causes.
That's what it's all about.
So it's like, so that family is a wonderful family. I'm still friends with the family. So there's different experience, and there's so many people I've met through selling their collection where
you've had listen, you've had, we're up against the break, but if you look at your career, where you started and the company you're with now, I mean, and you've surrounded yourself with some pretty capable fellow employees, and you kind of made a name for yourself too, which I hate to admit, but yeah.
Thank you. The one thing I work really hard, and I'm not going to stop.
Well, you can't. All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Grady is in the house. We have one more segment, and then we're done. By the way, next week we're doing a special 2-hour show over 2 weeks, and guess who our guest host is for the 2 weeks, Derek? Take a guess. Your friend and our friend, Joseph Tomasulo.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets to do the double show? Wait,
he's doing the double show next week.
Oh, come on. And you get more ratings when me and Joe are on together too. So you're just
what do you want me to tell you? You
should have me on to bust his balls. There's not.
If you want to come on, you have an open invitation. Yep. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Are you a collector looking for that rare trading card or autograph ball or photo? If so, then PB Collectibles in Newport is the place for you. PB Collectibles has graded cards, raw cards, complete sets, and wax boxes of the stars of the future, today, and from the past. We also offer a large selection of both vintage and modern cards. So whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell it, visit us at PB Collectibles, 269 Spring Street in Newport, located across from St. Mary's Church. We are your neighborhood card shop and much more.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
Okay, we're with Derek for our last segment. Before we get back to Derek, Lou, how about our good friend, Tom Finkelmeyer and the Finkelmeyer Insurance Company?
The Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 80s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting to Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting and with a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management. Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tobby of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. And for more information, go to thefaa.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
Hey, listen, just a programming note for next week, Derek, number one. So we're doing a 2-hour show, but it's going to be over the 2 weeks. Reason being is Ellen and I heading south to our Florida condo. We have some business down there. So we're going to be doing 2 shows next week. The first hour will be aired next week, and the second hour will be aired the week after. Now, Mr. Grady, if you would like to join Mr. Tomasula, myself, Mr. Petroselli, and Mr. Blasi for the 2-hour whirlwind show next week, you have an open invitation.
I would like that.
Oh, if I'm doing it for Lou, yes.
All right. Now I have to clear it with Tomasulo.
Why?
Because he's not overly thrilled with you, to be honest with you. You think he likes you, but the stuff he says behind. No, he does. Joe loves you. Are you kidding? All right, I'll let Joe know.
I love Derek, Tom. I love Derek. My collection's now worth $10 million.
Oh, you know something else. And this is going to be. I don't know if you know this, but this is Joe's swan song for about 7 or 8 weeks, because Joe
he has surgery coming up.
Joe's having a hip replacement.
He is.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's
been limping around shows now for the last year. It's about time.
First week of June, and he planned it accordingly to get on the show, to get that out of the way, and he's got nothing between that and the surgery. Okay. So he'll be up and running by the National.
Well, we're treating him like a celebrity here, so let's tone this down.
Joe's a great guy. He really
is. His landing leg or his push-off leg? Which one?
It's his right. Yeah, it's his push-off leg.
Yeah,
his right. He's righty. All right, hey, listen. We're talking about your Sunday showcase auction, and we're talking about affordable stuff, and I was just looking at it. T206s, Cracker Jacks, Old Judge, Gaudis, you got it all. This auction.
Is that the showcase that ends Saturday, or are you talking Sunday sales?
I'm talking about the Sunday auction.
The Sunday auction, yeah, we're intentionally putting more stuff in there for everybody: modern cards, vintage cards, memorabilia, autographs, and tickets, and then in our showcase, and then we have a showcase. We have showcase.
Tell us about that, which ends the 25th.
25th is our showcase sale.
Right,
that's a big one. Yeah,
and so that's going to have.
When we don't have a catalog, so there's months we have catalogs. On the off months, we have a showcase sale. We could have a catalog every month. I mean, we have so much stuff. We're inundated, but we try and not just be a mass listing service. We try and write up everybody's consignment in cards or whatever it is, memorabilia, graded magazines, tickets, jerseys. Try and authenticate it the best way we know how, using outside authenticators, but also in-house authenticators, card experts, and write it up the right way and not just be a mass listing service. Try and give the consignor a good experience.
Would be a kind of cool thing to do, Derek. I was thinking about this recently.
You want to go on a consignment with me?
No, I don't want to go on a consignment with you. Okay. But what I would like to do is,
that would have been a smart thing for him to say, Lou.
I'd like to get you I'd like you to get down to Florida, because the Heritage Auction facility is 10 minutes from my house. I'd love to do a show with you live from Heritage Auctions down in Florida. Nice. That would be cool. Very cool. Beautiful building, by the way.
No, it is. And it's a very nice office, and the staff's wonderful. It's just, what would be the purpose of being in there live, maybe during an appraisal fair or something?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. You
want something going on.
Yeah.
You just want nice things sitting around you in a Heritage office.
Maybe during an auction. I don't know. You're the professional.
Well, I mean, yes.
Listen, I do have another question about. I noticed. It seems as though, is it my imagination, or milestone achievement items like red hot right now, like Joe Smith's 500th baseball, or the puck that Joe Smith scored to win the Stanley Cup. Milestone objects, have they always been popular, or is
they've always been popular? They just cost more now, but they've always been popular.
Really?
And the thing that's interesting to me is, when Topps does their Topps Now product, where it comes out and they make a one of one if Ohtani does something, and those cards sell for 6 figures. Like, they literally just printed it, get it signed. They did
manufactured rarities.
Yes, that stuff concerns me over time.
It's coming out every day now, Derek.
Yeah,
I mean,
and people are paying it, but it's also like, we didn't even talk about this. What about the breakers? The breaking, the gambling of buying repacks. And when I talk to the people that buy for the repackers, it ain't slowing down. I personally don't know people that buy into breaks and you draw this team, you draw that number, you buy a repack. I don't know people that do that, but
it's big business,
gangbuster. Yes,
It's
there's no regulation. But I would think when people say, "Well, there's no regulation," well, I would like to think if you were using somebody that doesn't really put good stuff in, and you can't get anything good. My gut says they would go out of business. Nobody would keep buying into their brakes.
So what's to prevent me, you, and Lou from you were a grader, getting and I've brought this up before. We've talked about it. Picking up a Michael Jordan, your favorite, a Michael Jordan autograph with a little piece of his jockstrap or whatever, and I don't know, pick somebody else, Jerry West, and a little piece of his jockstrap, and kind of both signed, right, and have a card of both of them with those items in there, signed, slabbed, and it's a one of one. Why not create something like that?
Well,
people could do that every day. Is my point.
You're not going to have an NBA license. You'd have to do it without logos like Panini's done. But but we wouldn't have the name to get anybody to care or.
But this one of one stuff is just it's out of control now, Derek.
Well,
everything's a one of one.
Topps does a one of one. That's different than if Derek, Lou, and Tom do a one of one. But I understand what you're saying, and that's why one of ones have. Again, they blow me away what they go for because they make new one of one. When somebody said there's like, I don't know how many one of ones there are for Ohtani rookies or how many one of ones there are for Judge rookies, but it ain't one or two. It's a lot. There's hundreds.
By the way, if you guys want to watch a spectacular documentary, Ellen and I watched it the night before last. And actually, my wife, who is a sports junkie, she actually got emotional a couple of times during the documentary. And the name of the documentary is called The Logo. It's on Amazon Prime. It just came out 4 or 5 days ago.
The Logo.
And it's Jerry West. And it's when right before Jerry West died, he agreed to sit for this documentary, and everybody you can think of is in it, and the highlights of his career, interviews with him. He was a very, very, very troubled man. Very troubled man.
I didn't know that. I'll definitely watch it.
Suffered from depression and had a very tough childhood. And believe it or not, Lou, one of the things that that really contributed to his depression was the fact that he could never beat the Boston Celtics.
No, I'm sure. He lost how many times?
It killed him. He said he lost 12, 13.
Didn't he only win one championship? Did he only win one championship?
Yes, with them. But this is an interesting sidebar. Well, so he said it really physically and mentally took a toll on him over his entire life, the fact that he could never beat them. But from the administrative standpoint, his numbers are better than Red Auerbach's. He was the GM or the head of player personnel for 4 different teams that all won NBA championships. He was responsible for bringing Steph Curry in. He was responsible for bringing Magic Johnson in. I mean, it goes on, Luka Doncic. It goes on and on and on that he was a GM. Everyone was saying it. Everyone they were interviewing was saying he is by far the greatest administrator in the history of the game. 4 different teams he put together and made championships out of them. I never even realized that. Yeah. But I highly recommend it. It's called The Logo. And the reason it's called The Logo, you know why, correct?
Yeah, he is the logo.
Of course, because he is the logo. Yes.
Well, a lot of people don't know that. He is the logo.
Expert. Yeah, Lou and I are sports guys. Like, if we don't know that,
he never. A lot of people don't. And Jerry West refused. He refused up until this interview to acknowledge that he was the logo.
Really?
Refused to acknowledge. It's
there was some chatter that they were going to maybe switch that up and have Kobe after Kobe's untimely.
I don't know.
That Kobe
but he said the saddest day of his life saddest day of his life, and he started crying. It's like really emotional. By far, he says the saddest day of my life is when he got the phone call
I can
that
imagine.
Kobe Bryant had been killed. He said he started crying on the air.
Yeah.
He said, I cried like a baby. I shut myself off from the world for 2 days. Yeah. A really good documentary. I highly recommend it.
Okay. You did a
All
good
right,
job
so you're
saying
gonna
that.
be back with us next week, and I'm so thrilled to hear that. I am going to let Joe Thomasula know. Joe's going to be thrilled. He really is going to be.
He should be. We have fun going back and forth
You
with each
do,
other.
you guys. And let me tell you something. As much as I hate to admit it, you guys, you and Joe, when you're on together, Lou, should I tell him?
Yes.
You are our highest rated shows.
Of course.
So we get 32 people as opposed to 14.
You're our highest rated shows. When you guys are both on together, people for whatever reason love both of you guys. I don't quite understand it.
We're candid.
But they do.
No, I'm looking forward to the double show next week.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right. With that being said, Derek, it was good seeing you. Thank you for the kiss. I
Good to be
greatly.
seen.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'm
that was
having that.
regrettable, but I did.
Well, I'm having it
and
framed.
and
I'm going to
you
have it
should.
framed and
You
hung
should.
over my bed. So that's kind of interesting.
Good.
With that being said, Lou,
You
have
can
a
sign
great
it and you
weekend.
can sell it at auction.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night,
Yeah.
Rico and I have a gig in Methuen, Massachusetts, Lou.
That's right.
I'm sorry you can't join us, but it's going to be
Nope.
fun. It's with a bunch of Italian people, so it's gonna be interesting. With that being said, to our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Thank you all for the support. Steve Lane, if you're listening still, may you bite me. And the Yankees will, at some point in time, crash and burn like they do every year. With that being said, Derek, thanks again. Louis, thanks again. And to our viewers and listeners, happy collecting.